and welcome to another episode of the fucking awesome Gameroo Show. We are back, and today's game that I'm going to take a look at is none other than Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U. Kind of looks like a cookie, like a tasty cookie. I kind of want a Kirby cookie now. Somebody should make Kirby cookies and then send them to me because I would like them. Seriously, look at that. Frosting. Come on, it's all there. The story starts out with Kirby just chilling on a sunny afternoon, rolling around because walking is for suckers. Kirby's not having any of that, which is weird because technically Kirby is a sucker. Get it? Eh? Yeah? You get it. Suddenly the sky rips open and sucks all the color out of the world. Don't you just hate when that happens? As all the color is taken, a multicolored fairy arrives and brings Kirby and Waddle Dee back to life to pursue Bongo Bongo's little sister and bring color back to the world. You control the majority of the game with the stylus and gamepad. For everything. I think the only time you don't use just the gamepad is when you hit the pause button. Drag the stylus along the screen to make Kirby move along. You can also tap on him to make him go forward on the screen. It's a little odd at first, but once you get used to it, you start to have fun with it. Draw out the rope in all sorts of patterns to reach obstacles and ledges. You have a gauge in the upper part of the screen that shows how much rope power you have. To run out, you have to wait for it to refill before drawing more ropes to move on. It refills fast enough, but keep an eye on it. You might also be surprised how often you use it up. You attack enemies by ramming into them. Just make sure you attack Kirby with the stylus to propel him ahead. Otherwise, you'll take damage from the enemy. You can collect stars in the levels to have Kirby do supercharged rolls that break through certain barriers. This also comes in handy when facing certain bosses. You get Kirby to attack you, tap him with the stylus, and you gotta really make sure that you tap it to get him going forward. You just try to roll into him thinking, oh, I'll just roll into him and that'll do damage. No, it won't. It'll actually cause you to take damage. And it's kind of really clever how they do this. It's pretty fun, actually. The game looks amazing. The only problem is that you'll most likely be looking at the gamepad the entire time and not the screen. The claymation look is absolutely fantastic, and it actually looks like real claymation. It just seems a shame that you'll probably miss out on most of the main screen because you're looking at the gamepad. Now, I'm pretty sure if you play enough, or if you're just really good at your hand-eye coordination, and with a lot of practice, you can pretty much just probably do the gamepad as well as look at the screen and know exactly where you are on the screen, looking at the TV, and just do it like, you know, sight unseen, able to do whatever you want. Hey, look, I know exactly where I'm on the screen right now. I can do this, that, and the other thing. So for those of you who can do that, hey, that's great. I unfortunately don't have the time to sit there and try to practice that until I finally get it right. So it's pretty good. Like I said, it does kind of, I do feel it kind of takes away from looking at the screen, because on the TV screen, especially if you have an HD TV, it looks fantastic. I mean, it's probably one of the best looking Kirby games I have played in like a long time. I really like the way it looks on screen. It looks excellent, looks great. It's just that you might end up missing out a lot of that because you're basically looking at the screen most of the time. And it looks okay on the screen, but the screen itself isn't really HD, so you're not going to be able to take in as much of the HD as you could on the TV screen. So again, pretty good looking game. You just unfortunately might not be seeing much of it ahead of you. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is a surprisingly fun game. It offers some fun challenges and is a decently done puzzle game as well. It might be put off by lacking controls other than the gamepad, but the game is worth taking a look at. So yeah, you're really not, if you're using the gamepad, you're really not using any other buttons, you're using the gamepad. Now the game does have a multiplayer mode, basically where the other person can play a two-player. I think you can have up to like 4 players in this game. Let's see. Yep, 4 players. Like one person on the screen controlling Kirby with the rope thing and making him move along, and the other people are just using a regular controller and using their character as is. Like for example, player 2 is Waddle Dee, and Waddle Dee is like attacking and stuff like that. So you're pretty much playing, basically when you're playing multiplayer mode, like the second player will control the game as normal with a regular controller and not using the gamepad. So if you have a person, who's playing with you and they don't use the gamepad, they don't play Kirby, they can always play as Waddle Dee and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely it's a nice little game, not a very long game, but it is pretty interesting. Like I said, it's very colorful, like it has nice visuals. Like I said, unfortunately you might not be seeing the TV as much unless you get really fucking good at looking at TV while using the screen. So I'm sure there's somebody out there who can do that, and good for you. I'm sure you're having a blast with that. But other than that, if you have a Wii U, I think you should definitely try out this game. It's a pretty fun game. I'm going to go ahead and give it an A-. It does a lot. It's a pure fucking video game, okay? That's basically what I'm going to say at the end of the day of this. It's fun. It's got a little bit of a challenge. I do have some graphics. Sometimes you're trying to go one way, but Kirby suddenly decides to have a mind of his own. And like you're sitting there trying to go along, maybe do an attack, or you're trying to get him to climb the rope to go a certain way, and he just kind of like just doing whatever. It's like, no. And he goes backwards. You're like, no, you idiot, go that way. I'm trying to get you to go that way, but it's rolling that way. Some boss fights, it gets kind of annoying because you're trying to go in for the attack, but all of a sudden you like, the rope doesn't go there, or you don't put the rope the right way, or stuff like that. It does get kind of annoying and stuff like that. And story-wise, and I know that basically, like, asking for some kind of deep story from a Nintendo game or a Kirby game, no less, is asking for a lot. But I was kind of wondering, you know, before the game came out, thinking, well, maybe Kirby, like, it's called Rainbow Curse, so maybe Kirby can't walk or something like that. He got cursed, and he has to move around the ball, and that's why the rope fairy is helping him, because he can't walk on his own. But basically from the beginning of the game, no, Kirby can walk just fine. He just, for some reason, for this game, chooses not to. He's like, walking? What the fuck is that? I'm just gonna roll around like a fucking ball. And so, you can tell that in the intro. That I thought, oh, he's gonna get cursed and he can't walk, so that's why he's doing that. But no, it's just because he is a lazy bastard and would rather roll and probably get brain damage or whatever, instead of just walking like a normal person. But I guess if he walks like a normal person, you wouldn't really have the game mechanic from this game, now would you? Okay, I'm just saying maybe adding a little story to the whole rolling thing would have been nice. But it didn't happen. But this has been another episode of the Fucking Awesome Gamer Review Show. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Give it a shot. Buy it, rent it, borrow from somebody, I don't know. Just try the game. Give it more credit than it's getting. Come on, this game is awesome. Give it a shot. I will see you guys next time.